Welcome to Life After the Stroke. One phone call turned everything upside down. Later that morning, I fed Cutie and I secured her onto the bed with homemade bed rails and pillows. I returned to the rehabilitation nursing facility with the hope that I would get information such as medications Cutie must take and recommended doctors Cutie would see. That social worker, Megan, was angry. According to her, I should have not signed Cutie out, and Megan would not give me any information moving forward, and she herself deleted Cutie's record. Sound very personal to me. I left immediately because, mind you, I left Cutie by herself. I arrived home. I realized that when Cutie was in rehabilitation, nursing facility, I changed Cutie's doctor to my primary doctor. In other words, we both have the same doctor. I did that because before Cutie's stroke, she did not once attend to her primary doctor because the distance and he had bad Google reviews. The current primary doctor was only 15 minutes away walking. I also realized when Cutie was discharged from the hospital number 1, there were a list of specialists which Cutie would see on her discharge papers. One of the doctors was a neurologist. He was only 10 minutes away walking. I set appointment early May 2024. Once there, he said that Cutie must have a brain MRA and an MRI done because there were no current images. He asked why we went to a hospital further away. I told him that I did not like how Cutie was treated. She was a diabetic, and in the hospital, she did not eat for 4 days. She had multiple tests all throughout night and day, which left her sleepless. Doctors did not inform her of any information, so we left. He was slightly offended, but he was professional. I told him all the medication Cutie was taking at the rehabilitation nursing facility. The neurologist scheduled Cutie's MRA and MRI. It was May 22nd, 2024, 12 p.m. She did the MRA and MRI images. We arrived home 3 hours later. Around 4 p.m., I received a call from a radiologist indicating that he was not able to contact Cutie's neurologist about this new infarct. At that time, I was thinking, was she having another stroke after February 2024? Well, anyway, the radiologist urged me to take Cutie to the emergency. I took Cutie's to hospital number 2 because I liked how she was treated. She got a room where she was monitored closely for 24 hours. The next day, May 23rd, she would do the 3-week rehabilitation starting May 27th, which would have been Monday. Friday, May 24th, in the late afternoon, a nurse said to me that Cutie would be transferred to another hospital to do catheter angiography. I called the neurologist and I told him about the angiography. He said that the radiologist should have not called me, and the new infarct was the old infarct. In other words, the stroke that occurred late February. Therefore, the angiography was too soon for her, if at all, because she was on Plavix and she had Tachy-Brady syndrome. The neurologist remembered my complaint, so he said, get her transferred to hospital number 1, and she would get all her tests done late night, so she would be able to eat her meals. I agreed, so I went back to the nurse and told her to transfer Cutie to hospital number 1. The neurologist got her bed ready at hospital number 1, and he honored the transfer. She was successfully transferred. She was at the hospital for 5 days. During those days, all the tests were done late night, early mornings. Cutie was eating. I was eating. Cutie's primary doctor visited her. A group of neurologists, including the neurologist who helped with the transfer, visited her. Here was the simplest explanation. These neurologists knew there was a stroke or strokes, but they were not able to find the strokes. They believed the stroke or strokes occurred in the very small vessels that images could not see. Therefore, taking a clopidogrel or ticagrelor would prevent clots forming, thereby preventing strokes. The next steps would be visiting a podiatrist, the main neurologist near us, and her primary doctor. Before ending this segment, I hoped you, listeners, realize this. The hospital we feared ending up helping Cutie in her recovery. If we spoke up for ourselves in the beginning, the recovery would have started sooner. This was One Phone Call Turned Everything Upside Down, brought to you by Life After the Stroke. If this story opened your eyes, hit like and hit follow or subscribe button.